Episode 74. Today's co-host is Dmitri Love. You may have seen him on Shark Tank with the Bundil App.
Feed your interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies by joining Hall of Fame podcaster Gary Leland on the Crypto Cousins podcast. And remember, we are all cousins in the world of crypto. This week's price of Bitcoin.
$4,139. That's up $757, or 22.3% over the last 7 days. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Gary Leland here.
Hey guys, Dmitri Love here.
Hey, and Dmitri, I want to welcome you to the show as my co-host for the week, my guest cousin Dmitri. Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I was, for those who are not familiar with Dmitri, he created the Bundil App. It was on Shark Tank. We got a lot of stuff to get into there about that, a lot of questions I have for you. But before we do, I want to let everybody know about Crypto Crybaby at CryptoCrybaby.com. That's a brand new website I created for Bitcoin t-shirts, caps, hoodies, tons of great Bitcoin gear. Take a look for yourself at CryptoCrybaby.com. This is the perfect place to get that Christmas present for your Bitcoin and crypto friends. Now, Dmitri, tell me tell all of us, all the cousins out there, a little bit about yourself. I want to know about your dog. I want to know about you. I want to know everything, as much as we can in a couple of minutes, at least ways.
Yeah, for sure. So I am a 24-year-old software engineer. I'm based in Texas. You mentioned my dog. I actually have him sitting here with me right now, so you might hear a little bit of squeaking or, him shaking his little collar. But
great-looking German Shepherd from the photo.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, he actually has a website if y'all want to check it out.
What's that?
It's hellozoro.com.
Is that his name, Zorro?
Zorro, yeah. Zorro.
That's cool. Not many dogs have a website.
Yeah. I was a little extra with that, but, I had a good friend that's a great photographer, and, it just made sense to make him a website.
Well, you only live like 20 minutes from me, maybe, I bet.
Yeah, I was surprised.
You're the closest interview I've ever had. We could have met at the 7-Eleven at the Starbucks.
Exactly. That's hilarious.
That was when someone told me about me, Ray Redacted, who's been on the show a couple of times, told me about you. He goes, I don't know where this guy's at, but I know he's in Dallas-Fort Worth, so you need to get him on the show. And so then I listened to you. You were on the Bitcoin podcast. And after I listened to the show, which I like those guys and I like their show, after I listened to that, I said, well, gosh, I got to get this guy on the show because I have a lot of questions, not only about the experience, but about the app itself. So how'd you get into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency to begin with? Yeah,
so I was a software engineer. I was interested in blockchain and kind of investing and, kind of making my own little financial mark on the world. I heard about Bitcoin in 2016 and kind of started messing around with trading and kind of just buying some of it just to see what it's about. And 2017 was really when I got hooked.
What was the price of it when you first started getting into it?
I think I made my first purchase around 2000.
Well, so you're still pretty good up.
Yeah. It was pretty decent. I was more interested. I didn't really know much about holding on to it, unfortunately, or I probably would have bought a lot more, but I was more interested in trying to find a good trading technique, kind of like a day trading technique for it.
And so you just decided to come out with this app?
Okay, so with Bundil, my mom actually called me in 2017, late 2017. She had heard all the buzz on Bitcoin, and she was like, hey, Dmitri, you've heard of Bitcoin, right? And I was like, of course. And she asked me, she was like, hey, how do I buy this? And I was like, oh, well, go to Coinbase.com, set up your Coinbase account. This is going to be your wallet. You'll have to verify this, and that. Add this on here. And, I explained what I thought was an incredibly easy way to buy Bitcoin. And I lost her. She was completely clueless.
I did my sister that way, and she called me back a week later and said, I've been trying for a week to figure this out. And I was like going, gosh, it's really not that hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's really when I discovered, people unlike us are just not able to figure out how to use an exchange, unfortunately. And that's when I was like, all right, there has to be an easier way to invest. And I started looking up, easier kind of automated ways. I came across one of our, I guess, competitors in the market, Acorns. I started looking up, seeing if there's an Acorns for crypto. And once I saw that gap in the market, the light bulbs went off and I immediately started working.
Well, now, Dmitri, you're not the first, or your Bundil is not the first app to do this. I mean, I think I looked at my phone. I think I had another app sitting on there I'd never used before that does this. So let me ask, what makes yours different than the other one? Or is there a difference?
Of course, yeah. A few things. So our main competitive edge currently is we have a beautiful user interface. So we had the privilege of working on this app while other people were trying to work on the same idea. And we got to see lots of mistakes. We got to see lots of trial and errors as other people were trying to come up with their own product. And we kind of got a leg up in that we got to see what users actually wanted on a system like this to appease the current crypto user market and people that had never heard of crypto before. So one of our key defining things is that we have a beautiful user interface, and we partner with Coinbase, which is another key difference.
I saw that you partnered with Coinbase. Because at first I was wondering, what are you using as your interchange or exchange, or where's the crypto coming from, that you're getting? So Coinbase was that a hard process, or is that just an API you use, or?
Yeah, they just have an API that they expose for business accounts. And I'm sure we'll get into this later. Coinbase, that was just for the initial MVP, as I mentioned on the show on Shark Tank. We're actually going to be moving away from them in coming weeks. But we just wanted to get something that everyone knew, everyone trusted. We wanted to kind of get a household name involved just to kind of mow away any legality or regulations that might come up.
Right, that makes sense. Now, for those who are not familiar with the Bundil app, the website for it is enjoybundil.com, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Yep, Enjoy Bundil, Bundil.
So I'll make sure everybody knows about that. What are you going to switch to, or can you say, if you're switching from Coinbase?
I can't say, but we are switching to a company that will allow us to trade crypto for our users commission-free, as well as implement a new feature where we can round your spare change into a savings account.
So you don't charge a percentage when people buy, so you charge a monthly fee, if I'm correct, right?
Yep. Right now it's $3 a month, and if you pay for the whole year, it ends up being $2 a month.
How many customers do you have using the app so far?
So after we aired on Shark Tank, we got up to, I think we're at around 15,000 users now.
Oh, you increased quite a bit from being on Shark Tank.
Of course, yeah. Business was up 250,000%. I think that's the metric I got, which is ridiculous.
And that was really mostly just from your appearance on Shark Tank, just from that exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so when we launched the app, ABC contacted me the day after. So, I mean, we had a soft launch, and we didn't even have time to do any kind of marketing. We basically just were birthed into the world and then immediately thrown into the spotlight.
So what did someone there who was into crypto or something see this app and said, or maybe they weren't into crypto, who knows, but I guess they must have had an idea what it was and said, hey, here's something new. And they came out and contacted you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what happened was they were looking for cryptocurrency companies to be featured on the show because cryptocurrency is a buzzword, obviously. And they called me and were like, hey, your product is the easiest to understand that we found so far. Are you interested in coming on the show? And I was like, yeah.
Sure.
yeah. And they sent me over the application, some NDAs. I had to make a pitch video just like everyone else.
So you have, there's like an actual application. You still had to send that in, even though they solicited you.
Yeah, it was expedited because the deadline was only I think we had 2 weeks to do everything. But yeah, we definitely still had to apply.
How complicated is the NDA? I mean, what is there that you can't talk about? Or I don't know if you could even tell me you can't talk about it if it's an NDA.
There's lots of NDAs.
Oh, really? It's pretty complicated.
Yeah. They want to secure their process. They want to secure, there's certain things that I can't tell you that happened during the process. If it's
Okay.
public knowledge, I can tell you.
Right.
But, there's just certain things they keep proprietary. I mean, they have a whole slew of lawyers working on, NDAs, and like, even when you get out there, you immediately meet with lawyers. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
So there's a lot of legal stuff on here. Well, I've got a few questions my daughter came up with that she wants to know,
Of
being a
course.
giant fan of this show. So I'm going
Of
to
course.
ask some of these, and you'll just have to tell me if they're ones you can answer or ones you can't.
Yeah.
Because she's actually like listened to other shows about it. So this may be the most thorough questions we've had for you on Shark
Okay.
Tank itself. Number one, I'm just going to go through these questions. Is this like in a movie studio or TV studio, or is this like at an office? Because it looks like an office. Is it a studio set up to look like an office, or is it an office that they brought camera crews in?
We were definitely on a movie set.
Okay.
I forgot exactly which set, but I can tell you we were on the same set as an upcoming large Marvel movie.
Oh, that's cool. And so,
Hmm.
how many people are like there besides you and the sharks? Like working cameras, lights, and how many people are behind the scenes? See, these are the things my daughter wants to know. Is there like 10 people in the room besides y'all, or 50, or 2?
I would say at least 50 to 100.
Really?
Yeah, there's makeup, there's cameras, there's lighting, there's sound, there's props, staging, there's all the producers. I mean, there's a bunch of people there.
Wow. I would have had no idea that. Okay, now the next question is, you have that, well, everybody has like this little display table with this card, giant sign and everything. Do you make those and ship it up there, or do they provide those?
Yeah, we do. So most of the props, unless they're kind of, very large or ridiculously huge for, I guess, pitching purposes, you come up with your own props. Your producers help you come up with that little set that they show you on the show. And
Do they supply maybe vendors that make things and say, here's some people that can do this for you? Or are you out going, oh, I got to make this thing. I don't know where to go. I got to find an artist. I got to find someone to make it.
yeah, sometimes. So if you watch my segment, I had a chalkboard that was in the beginning of my pitch, and that chalkboard was provided by them.
Okay. Because I thought your chalkboard was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You stumbled a little bit on yours. Were you a little nervous?
Ooh, I did. No. Okay, so
I'm
lots of
not giving you a
people.
hard time about it. It just was obvious you stumbled a little.
Yeah, so lots of people stumble. And what made mine a little unique is that I guess I didn't stop in the middle of that stumble. So when you're pitching, they tell you that we can't stop. So like once everything started, like you're going. Like, there's
Okay.
no starting over.
There's not a
No,
dress rehearsal or.
nope. Well, yes, I didn't have much time to rehearse my pitch because everything was just rushed and expedited because we were coming in late on the deadline for applying. Our producers and everything were just kind of rushing to get everything together for me, particularly. But yeah, I didn't have enough time to polish my pitch like I would have wanted. Adding the chalkboard was a little complicated, and I was walking around set and doing things that I wish I would have probably had 2 or 3 runs of. But yeah, I mean, I stumbled on that pitch. I ended up actually, they didn't show this, but they had me start over at a certain line, and I crushed it after that,
Oh.
which they don't show because me messing up makes really good TV,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them.
Yeah, they're there for
Yeah.
ratings.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they pay for the flight or the hotel or anything, or is that all on you?
Some things are included, yeah. A hotel is included, flights are included, and I think we got a small stipend for food.
Okay, so if they like you and they want you in the show, they're helping you out. They're not like saying, we don't care. Your job's just to get here. If you can't make it, the heck with you. If they like
No,
what you got, they're going to work with you to make sure you get there and it's a good experience.
of course, yeah, definitely.
See, these are questions only someone who watches this show would come up with.
Yeah,
What
wow, they're really good.
what city is this recorded in?
We're in LA.
Okay, see, she thought it was New York for some reason.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, we're in LA with pretty much every other show that's ever been recorded. Seems like.
When you come in, she told me that when people come in, you stand there for like 5 minutes And
That's interesting.
and the sharks are sizing you up while you're standing there, just like.
Interesting that she knows that.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
that's
she knows the
completely true.
scoop.
Yeah, that's completely true. So they named it something. I forgot what they called it, but you basically just go out there and it's for them to get shots.
Yeah, I figured it was to set up lighting, make sure everything looks good, figure the angles.
Yeah, yeah. So you walk out there and you just stand there and like, my sharks, well, I guess my panel was just me mugging me the whole time. And, they swing cameras around you. It's just silent. And then as soon as they say go, that's your key to start pitching.
So how long did that show take? The actual time you spent recording your segment from the time you, I guess, started walking down the hallway.
Yeah. So, well, walking down the hallway is the first start. So the whole interaction, a lot of people are surprised to hear, was about an hour to an hour and a half.
Oh, so it's a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So you're actually pitching your business to them. So, they're going to ask you all the necessary questions. You're going to talk about necessary things, but they just obviously have to cut it down because TV.
So they ask a lot more questions than we see on TV.
Oh, yeah. One thing I will say is, how sometimes the sharks will fire off questions at an entrepreneur just all at once?
Right.
That's actually real. They would definitely want to get their questions answered. So you kind of got to be sharp in that regard.
How many times have you spoken to Kevin since the deal, directly to Kevin? I know you speak to his people. He probably has a contact that you deal with on a regular basis. But have you spoken to him personally since the deal was done?
I think I have once, but I mainly talked to his team. He has a team in Toronto because he's an incredibly busy dude.
Yeah, I figured as much. I figured he wasn't sitting around calling you every day going, hey, I'm sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually pretty ridiculous. I mean, every single day he's doing stuff. He's booked solid. But yeah, he has a dedicated team that handles all of his deals, handles due diligence, handles funding and everything that we mainly communicate with.
Is there like a waiting room where all these people who are waiting to go in to the Shark Tank are sitting there, like a green room, and y'all just sitting there having a Coke going, I got this app, and this guy goes, oh, I got a toilet roll holder, or are you just sitting in a room by yourself before you go in there?
From what I understand, there's never more than two entrepreneurs in like the set building whenever they're shooting. So there's an entrepreneur that's pitching, and then while there was one that was pitching, I was brought in, I was told to be quiet, and I was kind of getting ready, and they were kind of getting ready to switch me out once they were done. So there's never, all the entrepreneurs aren't just kind of like huddled in a room.
Okay.
Because there's actually quite a bit
I see everybody's just sitting there. Next!
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, they did that really, really well.
Oh, she told me that if you don't get a deal, that if no one does your deal, that in your contract, it says that you have to give the company a percentage of the app just for being on the show.
Not anymore. So Mark Cuban, being as awesome as he is, he threatened to leave over that, and they removed that. So now, as of now, you don't have to give them any percentage of your company.
Oh, okay. Because I always said, wow, that's a great deal. They get the guy on the show, and of course he gets great exposure, like you said yourself. The amount of people that got the app just from being on the show skyrocketed. And if this thing becomes great, man, they own a percentage of the company just for having you on the show. So I always thought that was a good deal on their part to have, but not a good deal on the because I saw one time the guy from Scotty Vest. Are you familiar with that product?
Scotty Vest? No, I'm not.
It's a vest or coat, and it has tons of pockets for iPads and iPhones and all kinds of stuff. Well, he had another product he was selling on there. Okay. And he was pitching a deal, and then it came out during the conversation he had another product called Scotty Vest. And they were going, well, how come that's not part of the deal? And he's going, that's not on the table. Because I assumed it's a very successful company. And I'm assuming he was going, I'm not bringing that on the table because I'm not giving away a percentage of that just to talk about it. Yeah,
exactly.
So I always wondered if that was the case. So I assumed it was. So, but now they don't do that. Well, that sure makes it easier to go. Okay, my last question of Amanda's, my daughter's Amanda's.
Okay.
Would you do the deal again?
And being a young entrepreneur, this is the first business that I've started. In the same circumstance, of course.
Right.
If I was a successful entrepreneur, I probably wouldn't do the deal at 50%, but I would try very much hard to do a deal.
Okay.
Still.
So the contact and working with Kevin is a great asset to have, but if it wasn't for being new, you would have wanted it might not have been worth 50%.
Yeah, especially if I already had similar relationships that
Right.
Kevin has, or I was already experienced in the finance space, definitely. But because I'm not, it's a great deal.
Well, that's true. That's the way everything though is, right? That's the way everything is. If there's a lot of people who do something, and that's why a lot of people start their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
They learn all they needed to know from somebody, and they go, well, gosh, I can do this. I got all the contacts now. So I think that's the way life is in general. Okay, those are all my Shark Tank questions. So let's get back to Bundil. Thanks for my patience on that. I do have a couple of questions here. Number one, I tried to download the Bundil app last night because I like to really do my research. I don't do that much research, to be honest with you, but I like to know something. And I got stopped. And I was wondering why it was set up this way. Because I agree, it's really easy to use, and I like your opening scenes, kind of, the pages showing what's going on and stuff. But when I went to set it up, I had to go, which I like how you had the images of my bank, Capital One, American Express, or whatever. So I was clicking on those, but I don't know my account name and password, so I couldn't go any further. Because I don't use that system online for my credit cards. I just use my card in my hand and I get a bill in the mail. And so I actually didn't know my credit card information to set up an account, where every other app I've ever used online for crypto allowed me to actually put in my credit card number, the date, the whatever, which your way is easier if I know that information. But everybody has their card with them just about, and they know that information. I was stopped from using your app because 24 hours later, still don't know my username and password for any of my credit cards. And so I didn't know if you'd taken that into consideration.
Yeah, definitely. So there a couple of things. I stated on the show that we had built this MVP just to kind of...
What does that stand for, MVP? What does that stand for?
Minimum viable product.
Okay, thank you.
So best practice is you kind of build just bare bones skin of what you're trying to build, release it, and see if people want it. And if people want it, then you kind of go into that fly by the seat of your pants phase where you're just growing faster than you can handle, which is kind of where we are. And then eventually you create a full polished product. It's kind of how all the big names like Instagram, how Facebook came up, lots of other successful apps. But the second thing I wanted to say on that is, so we actually don't handle any of your credit card information. So we use a third party that pretty much every financial app that ever exists uses, because we wanted to make sure we were safe and secure, and we didn't want to handle any of that information.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're covered too.
Exactly. To input a credit card, there's actually more fees that we would have to charge the user for that. So logging in to the bank account is the cheapest way for everyone.
Okay, so it's a price. Okay, that makes sense to me then. Because like I said, I got stuck and I still haven't signed up because I got to find my wife now. She's out of town. She didn't get back for a couple of days. I got to go, what's her username and password? I mean, so it made it a lot more complicated for me is the reason I was asking. So what happens to my money? Okay, I'm rounding this crypto up. Do I have a personal wallet that I give you the address to that it sends my crypto to, or is my crypto on the app?
So currently, because we're partnered with Coinbase, you just log into your Coinbase account or create one within the app, and it's directly linked. So Coinbase is the wallet. You can manage all of your funds in there.
And so I guess also at the moment, it can only have the coins that are in Coinbase. So that maybe, is that why you're switching to increase the amount of cryptos you can offer people?
There's a lot of reasons why we're switching. We want to switch because we want to offer more crypto. We want to cut down on fees. Coinbase's fees are absolutely ridiculous. And with their system, they can kind of dictate when people can or cannot buy crypto. With that, they can dictate some pretty crazy things. They have the high fees, and we just kind of want to move away from them just so we can, have a better experience for our users. Their sign up process is just ridiculously long, and you have to get verified. And right now, it's just really cumbersome.
Okay, so there are a lot of reasons that are good reasons that you'd want to switch. Because I was wondering if I quit using the app, let's say after a year, I said, I'm tired of doing this. Mm-hmm. What happens to my crypto? But you're saying it's in my Coinbase wallet, basically, that I would create. If I had a Coinbase wallet already, would I just link that one up to it?
Yeah, you would just log in. Within the app, if you already have Coinbase, you just log in and link the app and, give the necessary permissions within the app, and you're good to go.
Well, that sounds easy enough. So what are the future goals or future plans for the app? Is there anything that you can tell us to say, here's something we'd like to do down the road? Or
Of course, yeah. So moving away from Coinbase is a big thing. I mentioned earlier, we're actually going to be implementing a savings feature where you can round your spare change into savings. And that's a huge deal because...
So actual fiat savings?
Yeah. FDIC insured. We'll also be able to offer around 1% interest on the savings account as well. And this is just to kind of encourage mass adoption, right? So, everyone has regular money. Everyone knows how that works. Everyone should, I hope, have a savings account if you're investing into something. And this is a way to kind of ease that barrier to entry into crypto because a lot of people are shy right now. Especially with the current price drop.
Sure. It's a bear market. Let's face it. And I don't know if we actually mentioned, so I want to make sure, and if I did mention it, we're mentioning it twice, which isn't going to hurt. The whole purpose of this app is if I go buy something for $8.05 on my credit card that I've associated with your app, it then rounds up my purchase to $9 and puts that extra 90 cents or whatever into the crypto of my choice at the moment, and later it'd be putting it in, I would have the choice of a savings account. But it rounds up my spare change and invests it for me. And so I guess the concept is you really never notice that you're missing it by being a little bit here, a little bit there, I guess. Is that the concept?
Yeah, and we actually have 3 different roundup options. So not only do we have you just described the traditional roundup, so that rounds up to the next dollar. We also have 50-cent roundups and $1 roundups because, people use their cards differently per day. Like I might use mine 3 times today, getting a coffee, getting lunch and dinner. You might use yours, once. So to combat that, because we want our users to be able to invest a healthy amount to not get killed by Coinbase's fees currently, we put the 3 different roundup options in there.
So I'm not paying any money. If I add that dollar to it, if I add that dollar to it and say I want Bitcoin, I'm getting 0.00001 Bitcoin or whatever, but I'm not paying any fees.
With Coinbase, you are paying fees, which is why we're moving away from them. You still have to pay Coinbase's transaction fees.
I just don't pay you any fees. I just pay you the monthly fee. But your plans are to move away so I'm not paying fees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make a big difference because Coinbase fees are high. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in the plans? That's a big one, the fiat.
Yeah. We want to also kind of branch off into different verticals. We want to get into the auto space. We want to get into the commodity asset space. We basically want to make this a platform that brings all avenues and all verticals centrally towards crypto.
What does that mean, auto space?
Yeah, so we want to invest your spare change into an auto down payment, which we're actually working on.
What would be the difference in that and just a savings account? I don't understand.
It would go to the dealership. So if you kind of want a car, you would go and link up the account, invest your spare change into the auto loan, and once you get enough money, after 6 to 12 months, you can go purchase the car. Without thinking about it. You don't have to come up with a down payment because a lot of people that either are financially challenged or people that just don't think about down payments for cars, have trouble with that down payment aspect. And we kind of want to attack that front as well. The goal is to attack all fronts to get everyone towards crypto. We don't want to just only do crypto, especially how the space is going right now. We want to offer many things to where, people that may not have ever even heard of crypto or be interested in it can kind of see it and be like, hey, what's this? What does this do?
Well, these are basically, I guess, called micro investments, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't familiar with that term.
Yeah.
That was a new term for me, but there's always a lot of new stuff that I learn doing these shows. We're getting near the end. Is there anything that I didn't cover about the app or your dog or anything at all that you want to make sure and tell everybody before we get out of here?
No, I mean, basically, I've been receiving great feedback, some good, some bad. I'd love if people could keep that up. It helps me get better, helps my team get better. We really want to build something that the people want. So any criticism that anyone may have or constructive feedback is always welcomed.
Well, as I said, the website's enjoybundle.com, but where can people follow you at, or how would people message you that feedback?
Bundle is on all of the social media platforms. It's just @Bundil App everywhere, BUNDILAPP. And we have pretty much every communication form turned on. So yeah, feel free to shoot us a message, tweet at us, follow us on Instagram, comment, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, very cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, I know my daughter's going to love just hearing all her questions answered. But I thought this was a good opportunity to do a mixture of Shark Tank fans can pick up on this and, fans of crypto will understand Bundle a bit more. Maybe people who want to be fans of crypto will be able to understand it a little bit more. And so maybe we'll try to have you back on. And when do y'all plan on switching from Coinbase to not exact date, but is it like 2 months from now, 6 months from now, or?
I would say within 2 months. We're shooting for January. I think it's probably going to be closer to February 1st, but January is the goal at the moment.
Okay, well, good enough. Well, thanks. I really appreciate you taking time. I found that interesting, all that Shark Tank information.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we'll have you on the show again someday. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed today's show. A big thank you to all the cousins out there that are showing their support by donating, subscribing, and leaving great reviews on iTunes. All of those things help more than you realize. Now, you can subscribe almost anywhere podcasts are available by going to CryptoCousins.com/subscribe. Call me with your comments or questions at 747-777-9471. Or you can email me at TheCryptoCousins@gmail.com. And I'll try to use these on future episodes. Please take a peek at the 4-Minute Crypto Show, which is produced every weekday and located at 4minutecrypto.com. It's the place to get your daily dose of crypto news, and it's always 4 minutes or less. And one last thing, please take a look at my new website, Crypto Crybaby. This website is for the true crypto fan and sells Bitcoin and crypto gear like t-shirts, caps, and so much more. Take a look at CryptoCrybaby.com today. Thanks again for listening. Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Crypto Cousins podcast. Please share the show with your friends. They can subscribe by going to CryptoCousins.com/subscribe. And if you want to know more about Gary, just go to GaryLeland.com. Make sure and join Gary and all the Crypto Cousins every week for a new episode of the Crypto Cousins podcast. The Crypto Cousins podcast and the information included in the podcast are not intended as investment advice. Investing in any cryptocurrency is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always seek professional advice before investing in any cryptocurrency. Please understand, you are using any and all information from the Crypto Cousins at your own risk.